Alright, what is up guys? Losermanic here, and today, welcome to something new. This is gonna be called Let's Talk. Um, this is gonna be like a new thing every now and then. It's not gonna be like a series where I have these ideas and I couldn't really put them into a video. Sometimes I have these ideas I want to make a video on, but then I couldn't because it was to be like 3 minutes talking and whatnot. And I really like I kind of like talking, but only to like myself. Yeah, I'm crazy. But there were some clips or some ideas that was just gonna be like really short. So I wanted to. So now I get to use this to talk about it. I do have a few ideas in mind. Let me see where the hell this goes. It's been like so doing this. I kind of realized that I'm really sensitive with a lot of stuff I'm passionate about, like gaming mostly, and just music. If you guys recall from my Last of Us 2 review, I talked about how I didn't want anyone attacking my opinion in the comments. And it may seem like, oh, he's just a little baby, but that's something that's happened to me before. I used to use something called an app called iFunny, and in there, I had to stop using it around the time Last of Us 2 came out because I was so passionate. I enjoyed the game. I felt like I enjoyed the game, but I don't want to say I enjoyed it because otherwise people would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" So I had to delete it. But I used iFunny a lot up to a point where it made me who I am. iFunny's stigma is if you don't agree with my opinion, you are the problem. Mostly in the comments, mostly just porn and shit. I don't give a fuck. You know, whatever you gotta do. I'm not one of those like. I'm not one of those people where they're like, oh, I don't like. I hate porn on my app. I'm like, man, it's just shit happens. You gotta do what you gotta do. Especially on this, if you're desperate to get featured, who do I give a fuck, right? So, and then a lot of people would get it. I would get attacked over it just because I'm like, look, if you I understand it's called iFunny, but there's some memes I've laughed at. I haven't like, I, I don't go off and attack the people who don't laugh, who I don't think is funny on that app. I'm not like, dude, I'm trying to laugh, and like 10,000 other people laughed. So I keep my opinions to myself. But occasionally, I do have an opinion that I'm comfortable with saying on iFunny, and then it just gets attacked. And my Last of Us 2 opinion kind of took me over the edge, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, no more iFunny. And I've gone like a month without iFunny. It's fun, but I've been going to Reddit more, and I use that for something else. I'm not saying, but it's just I don't know. I kind of live around the mentality of your opinion matters. It will take if I argue with you over something, it will take me a while until I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. It's something I have trouble doing, but at the end of the day, if it's your opinion, who the fuck do I care, right? It's just your opinion, and then there's mine. If there's a few things that I find comfortable with, and that is my opinion. If my opinion is violated in any way, I kind of get angry because it's my opinion. I'm allowed to have that, and if that's taken away from me, it's something I take almost seriously because it's happened to me before. Like my favorite band of all time is Avenged Sevenfold, which is a metal band for some people who don't know, and around the metal community, they aren't heavy metal in a way. Either that or they're joking, but I cannot take it. I don't like um, jokes on shit like that because I support a band. Never mind the fact that it says Slipknot on my shirt. Um, yeah, and then like I would watch a lot of these like how to be a metalhead videos because I don't consider myself one. It'll be like do not for any reason listen to Avenged Sevenfold, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a metalhead then. So And then yet, I don't like a lot of stuff, but I don't like whenever something I enjoy is either ruined or violated in any way. Which is why if you if you were to play a game with me, like Rockman for example, and you don't take it as seriously as I do, I flip the fuck out. It's just something I'm passionate about. A lot of people may not understand that because they're like, dude, you're taking it way too far. It's like, well, there's something I'm passionate about personally. A lot of people take something they're passionate about very differently. My way is aggression. I mean, I won't fight you. I'll just be like, dude, fucking stop. I'm trying to enjoy this and you're ruining it. So, yeah. Speaking of terrible things on iFunny, YouTube. I'm not talking about the YouTube system because I'm too fucking stupid to know about that. But one of the things I did want to talk about was the fact that opinions on YouTube, or with a lot of the stuff that happens on YouTube, like, I'll give you an example. My favorite YouTuber all time is Minilad. And if you guys pay attention to YouTube drama, you guys will know the shit he's been under recently. I'm not gonna go over it because I don't even fuck know what happened. He's a manipulator. He that whole thing with like him and terrorizing. Was he a pedophile? I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about it, but a lot of people have negative opinions on that I now feel obligated to not watch him anymore because I'm like a sponge. I absorb everything. And once I see people like, oh, do not watch this person, I'm like, well, I'm gonna watch. If my favorite YouTuber murders someone or is a child molester or whatever, I'm still gonna watch him. If I find his videos entertaining, I'm gonna watch him. And I feel like that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, oh, they did this terrible thing, do not watch him. It's like, well, don't watch him just because he did a terrible thing. Yes, what he did is terrible. But if you find his videos entertaining, then why are you going to stop watching him then? Yeah, he did a terrible thing, but if that same thing happened to your favorite band, are you going to stop listening to them? I guess I wonder, are people still fans of Blood on the Dance Floor after that shit happened? I don't know. But, like, I don't like when people, and YouTube especially, they always try and tell you how you should live your life. Most of the time, from what I've seen, it's always like, you should live your life by not watching this comedian or this YouTuber or listening to this band. And that's kind of made me who I am today. Like, I've grown into the feeling of I don't like authority figures now. It's mostly just because of the fact that, well, okay, authority figures or being told what to do in an aggressive way, or if I don't know you, just being told what to do in general. Or if I don't like you. But those are three different things for different times. So yeah, and look, I do want direction. I do want to be told. I have to be told what to do. But if you tell me in an aggressive way, or if I don't know you, given certain circumstances, I will be pissed off. So yeah, this whole thing with YouTube is now like, oh, this person did a terrible thing. Do not watch them anymore. No. If that person did a terrible thing and you still enjoy what they do, continue watching them. Who the fuck's gonna tell you what to do? No one should tell you what to do unless it's your parents, your teachers, whatever, you know? Although, are people still going to school? I don't know. I'm pissed off because I graduated like almost a year ago. Well, the May would have been a year ago. So like a year ago and 2 months. Almost. It is the 20th. I graduated on like 20... I don't know when. It's like May 23rd or something. I live in Colorado, so I don't know. I know it's like different in different states. Like, if school was still going on, people in Washington would still be in school. I know that because occasionally I would have people be like, and now classes are out for the year, and my grandma lives up in Washington. We would always me and my sister used to visit her by ourselves 3 years in a row, and every time school would have just gone out in July or June, because they start June or they start school in like September, so close to that. They get out in June, and then July, August, and then mid September was when they got back in school, which I didn't remember that at all. I used to go to school in Washington, for like pre-K up until first grade. So that was like a 3 year. What was it? I don't remember. I had like 3 different teachers. Or maybe that was just a substitute. I don't. Oh, I don't know. I think I might have had pre-KK and then pre-K, and then kindergarten. No, I don't. I don't know. All I know is I do not remember going out of school in June and then starting back up in September. It might have happened, but I don't remember. Um, Let me just say, my sister got lucky. She went to school, or she started school in Kentucky. We used to move around a lot. So I started school in Washington, and I finished in Colorado. And within that middle was Kentucky. So I was there for second grade to fifth, and then I finished off high school and middle school in Colorado, which is fucking dumb. I hated moving around a lot, but if it had to be done, my sister got to start school in Kentucky and finish in Colorado. Guess how long we've been in Colorado? My sister is doing or started her school year in Colorado in the fourth grade. Well, she didn't start going to school in the fourth grade. She was still in kindergarten by the time or she wasn't still in she was still in elementary school. Well, elementary school is different for a lot of people. It's up to like 6th grade, 6th or 7th grade, and then 8th grade's like middle school or high school. But I know elementary school as being 1 through 5th grade, or pre-K to like 5th grade, then high school being 6th to 8th grade. That's how it usually is, right? And then high school being 9th to 12th grade. I don't know if that's how it usually is, right? A lot of schools are different. It's weird. I hear people say like high school to me was like 8th to 10th grade. Then we had like an extra, which was like 10th through 12th. You're like, really? That's a short amount of time for 8th grade. Then what about 6th and 7th? They're full grown at this point. Going through puberty and shit. That is gross to be around fucking kindergarteners. Going through puberty with all of this sick. It's gross. That's why I think that's why I enjoy the whole middle school thing. I went through my sick, but with other people who were going through this sick as well. Yeah, we've lived in Colorado for so long. My sister was in 4th grade by the time we were in Colorado, so she had to do 4th grade in Colorado and up. And she's in high school. She's a senior now. We've been in Colorado for that long. I graduated a year ago, and I got the unlucky half, first of all, because I had to start a whole new grade area, because I had just gone out of elementary school. And starting middle school in a new state was bad, because you kind of expect, because when you're in middle school, you have all these friends prepared, because I think around like elementary school is around the time like you can pick your friends and let them go, but around middle school is when you have to stick to that friend, because you guys are in for it for the long haul. If you guys just break off, it's gonna suck. It's gonna feel awkward the rest of the time. So this is kind of leading into my new thing. Was I graduated a year ago, as I mentioned before. I hated school. My favorite part of school was leaving. In fact, I would wake up, deal with school, and then be home, and then be happy. like I hated everything about school. I had a good, occasionally good teachers. Um, I had like this one terrible teacher. I would say his name, but I don't give a fuck. He was so bad of a teacher. My friend at the time, who's smarter than me, um, I'm one of those kids that always gets like D's and C's and occasional F's. I somehow managed to survive middle school on an F in one of my classes, but I was like, hey, I'll take it, you know. Um, so with this teacher, my friend at the time would always get like B's or A's. Like, I've never seen him with a C. He that's how good of a student this my friend at the time was. I'm just gonna say friend, even though he was a friend at the time. Um, he was so good of a student. He would always talk to the teacher about the topics, which he was a history teacher, so it would be like history stuff. It was like U.S. history for like middle school. But once I got onto high school, U.S. history was so much better. It was like music and shit. It was awesome. Oh wait, no, it was just history. I just remember the U.S. history shit. Whatever, doesn't matter. Um, but I was like the worst. I guarantee you, I was his worst student. He would always call my name like Trevor. Wake up! I wasn't sleeping. I was physically trying to stop myself strangling him. He was so bad. He didn't teach bad. He was a good teacher. If we're talking about if teaching abilities makes him a good teacher, then he was a good teacher. I will say that much. Personally, for me, I think personality, because you don't see a teacher and be like, huh, he's good at teaching. No, you try and pick out the personalities of someone. If you judge people based off their teaching abilities, fine. Who do I care, right? Um, but I like to pick the teacher, or I judge the teacher based off their personality, because that's dependent on whether or not I'm gonna have a good day, and I want to have a good to moderate day. And if you're a terrible teacher with a terrible personality and you take it out on other people, that's gonna be a bad time for me. But this teacher was so bad. My friend, who again always had A's or B's and the occasional C, got a D in his class. He did more work than I did, and I went off with a C. I have to put into perspective. This teacher would have like a band lined up for like us to turn our work in based off our grade level. He would always turn in his work, which means he got a good grade. He paid attention. He would probably be right. So that means he turned in the work and got a good grade. I think that's how a lot of teachers are. As long as you turn in the work, I'll give you a good grade. I won't judge it based off how bad it is. As long as you get the right idea, as long as you get the idea of what's going on, I'll give you a good grade. It won't be the best grade because you didn't get all of it right, but if you get a lot of it wrong, I'm not going to dock your grade off that. That's what I've noticed, at least with my teachers. I'm pretty sure a lot of teachers do that. I don't know. On the occasion I did turn in my work, I always got like good grades on them. But and I never. So yeah, my friend got a D in his class. Turned in more work than I ever did. Probably got more right answers or correct answers or whatnot than what I did. And then I passed off with the C. That is fucking dumb. Because my friend is smarter than me, but somehow I got off easily. Just makes no sense. So I will say to the people watching this who are still in school, whether it's high school, middle school, elementary school, is you may hate it now, but I feel like I'm gonna feel like such an adult, but just um live your life, do your work, do your homework especially, because I never did homework. Well, okay, I did do homework, but it was like once every 3 months or so. So I had like a bunch of shit missing. Um, it's not because I didn't want to do it. I just hate homework. If work is meant to be for home, then sleeping is meant to be for school. That to me, myself, I don't remember who quoted it or who made it, so I probably shouldn't have said that. Um, but yeah, so to the people, whether you're a senior, well, I have a special message for seniors. But that'll be in a bit. Or just to high schoolers in general, I guess. Or to everyone. Sorry. Is just you may hate school now, but you're gonna wish you were back. Once you graduate. What the fuck? What the fuck is up with the coloring? Hold on. Weird. I just have to do that occasionally, I guess. Yeah, and to everyone watching, I do have a special message, like one direct message, mostly to seniors because they're gonna be going in there. This mostly to people, I would say mostly high schoolers because they're creeping up to be a senior. Is find that special teacher. What I mean by that is, I had a teacher who, without her, I probably would not have graduated, and I'd probably be 18, blowing my fucking brains out because I have to suffer through school again, although it would be online. Although now people are wearing masks to school. Jesus Christ. I guarantee you, if I did not have that teacher, I would probably still... Well, first of all, I'd probably be dead by now, not asking for attention, or I'm probably being dramatic, because my parents would have gone on my ass and would have shot myself. That's more of a joke. At least that's what I'll say. Again, not asking. It sounds like, oh god, it sounds like I'm asking for attention. Damn it, I'm not asking for attention. It's just a joke. Even though suicide's not a joke, who gives a fuck? But I had this one teacher. I wish I would say her name, but I don't want to. But she knows who she is if she somehow watches this. She helped me out a whole lot. She was my case manager. Some of you guys who don't know what a case manager is, I don't know if it's different. Again, a lot like the school days. I don't know if it's different between states. But for me, a case manager is someone who kind of helps you out, kind of helps you lead on the road to graduation, and in some cases, sits you down, helps you with your work if you need it done. I don't think I had a case manager like that. That was my senior year case manager. This the same case manager that helped me graduate. Yeah, so they would sit down, give you work. All my case managers were female. I don't get it. Yeah, so most of my, yeah, a case manager is someone who, like, comes to you, pulls you aside, has, like, a meeting with you, and it's like, you have all this missing work, we need to get it done, talk to your teachers about how you can do it, and I hated asking my teachers. I had this one case manager, I had a teacher for 2 different classes, kind of within the same realm, but it was 2 different classes. I was in like I was in an engineering class. So I had an intro to engineering, which I have since I haven't done any more since then because I realized engineering is not what I wanted to do. So, but it was interesting while it was. And I had like programming and whatnot. So I was in intro to engineering. My teacher pulls me aside and wants me to ask my teacher on a programming class, or about something that's happening in the programming class. So I'm in a different class asking my teacher about another class I have with him. That is so embarrassing to me because I'm not asking him about the current work that needs to be done. I'm asking him about something else that already happened. I had intro to engineering like later in my schedule, but I had the programming like before lunch. So I'm asking him about something that already happened, for a class that already happened. Granted, I'm gonna see him again the next day, so I could just ask him there. My case manager's always right, but yeah. But this case manager went out of her way to work with me. She didn't have to. Well, she probably did, but she didn't have to. For all she knows, she could have just done what the other case managers have done, not helped me, let me fan for myself. But she actually went out of her way to help me out with the work needed, um, with not only the work needed, but what I needed to do. She would get the directions, and I feel bad because I had it. My least favorite teacher of all the teachers I had was probably my senior history class, or my senior history teacher. For one semester, I didn't really have a history class. I didn't think I needed one, but I guess I did. Um, but this teacher, I wanted to put it into perspective. You got to choose your history classes. I wanted to be in modern warfare because that's something I'm interested in. And there was like no other option. There is no like music history, which if there was, I would have taken that. Um, but there wasn't. There wasn't music history, so it's like modern warfare. You know, my friend knows a lot about guns, and that's a fact. Again, we would take these walks around. He would stay the night at my place, and occasionally we take these walks. And then every now and then I would ask him like, so I was playing Black Ops 2 and the AN-94. Is that a real gun? He'd be like, yeah, this is his. And then he'll tell me like when it was invented, where it was. Motherfucker was smart. And I wanted to take that because my friend is very into modern warfare. In fact, he wanted to be in the military, but he couldn't. But with something like that, I wanted to take Modern Warfare. I was certain I was going to take Modern Warfare. Next thing you know, I'm in a fucking politics class. Talking about, like, trade, political shit. I don't even fucking remember. But yeah, it was like learning about, like, I'm trying to figure out what political race I'd be in. I'm like, no. I'm not gonna be a fucking president anytime soon. I'm too stupid to be a president. Although some things will come up. I'm not even a political person myself. I had a deleted video because it talked about politics, and I was like, maybe I'll refrain from politics. But now here I am talking about fucking politics. To this day, I still don't know how the government works. I don't know. All I know is that a president can veto a bill, and a bill can become a law. That's all I know. But that's from like the Schoolhouse Rock videos. You guys remember those? Those like talking about like I'm just a bill, that shit, dude. Fucking amazing. But yeah, that's all I remember of politics was that, or that we have a president, and that we're in a democracy. Okay, everything I can remember about politics in maybe a minute. I remember that the president can veto bills, but if a bill goes through, that is now a law which they decide. Anarchy is where there's no government officials at all, so it's just where we don't have a president, so we're free to do whatever we want. Anarchy leads to tyranny. Although Oxford taught me that, school never fucking taught me that. Trying to remember. And we're in a democracy. That's all I remember about politics. I don't know how the government system works. I don't know how the legal system works. Although I've been watching Legal Eagle, fucking amazing guy. He's so awesome. And it's just politics sucks. Although huge respect to whoever can fucking figure that shit out. But I had to deal with politics. I did politics class. I know some of you guys are like, we get it, move on. I'm sorry. Damn bed. I had this teacher who, again, I didn't want to do politics. I wanted to do modern war. It wasn't until like later, and I want to say like fourth quarter, that I was like, hey, I didn't want to do this. I wanted modern warfare, but here I am talking about whether Donald Trump is a good president or not, which I'm not going to give my opinion on because, again, politics. And this teacher was. Here's how the preferred grading system worked. This is how I'm used to it. This is how it should have been. Let's say I turn in a test and 2 homeworks, alright? And I'm at an A. I'm at 100, I turn that in. The quiz would bump my grade down depending on how bad. Let's just say I got a 90 on it. And I got all of the homework questions correct. Hypothetically, this will never fucking happen. Well, it can't now. How the grading system that I'm used to works is it would bump my grade down to maybe a 90. Since I got a 90 on that test, I should be getting close to around a 90, maybe an 80. Which is what I'm fine with. Alright? In his grading system, if I do the 100% and got the 90 on that quiz, I'm down to like a 70. And again, that's probably how grade systems usually work, but that's how his worked, and that's what I'm not used to. So let's say I then skip. Okay, so now let's say hypothetically I got the 100% on the test, and my grade is still at 100 for both scenarios. I skipped 2, or I forgot to do 2 evenly weighted. So the homeworks is weighted throughout this whole scenario. Which is like worth 0.5, the test is worth 1. That's something to keep in mind. Which I'll go into that later. So let's say I then skip 2 homeworks. Alright, now I'm down to maybe a C or maybe a D. Alright? Or, okay, maybe a B or a C, since I skipped those since it was 2 homeworks as opposed to 10, which is how I would usually go. I think every 10 homework sets I would do 1 homework. So like every 9th homework, that 10th homework I would do. I think that's how it usually went. Alright. So yeah, I skip out on 2 homework assignments, evenly weighted across the whole board. I'm looking at around a B or a C. This fucking teacher, I skipped 2 homework assignments. I'm looking at a D or an F. Alright, so my grade is now down to a 50. And this shit has happened before. Alright, I'm down to a 20 in this class. Alright, I don't have any work done. I'm down to a 20. Again, politics isn't my thing. I'm too slow for politics. So I shouldn't even be in this class in the first place. And thank God for this teacher. Or thank God for my case manager. This just all went from talking about my favorite case manager to my least favorite teacher. God, my ADHD's sticking out. Holy shit. But kind of put it into perspective, I guess. And he was so soft-spoken too. He never got angry at us. He never yelled at me, which is what makes a good teacher. If you don't yell at me, you are a good teacher. But if you don't yell at me and your grade system's fucking shit, you're a terrible teacher. Alright? So yeah, I'm down to like an F. Okay, so I have a 20 in this class. Alright? So, okay. So, we'll bump my grade down in the first scenario to an F. To the 20.00%. Alright? I do those missing assignments. I'm looking at maybe a D, or somehow, if I'm lucky, a small percentage of C that if I'm 1 grade lower, I'm back down to a D. Alright? So let's say I'm within that realm, D to a C. Even though, because all that missing stuff gets brought back up to a D or a C or whatnot, counting for the days it's been gone. Okay, homework's been gone for 2 days. Alright, let's catch you up to speed. First scenario, 2 missing assignments, evenly weighted. I'm looking at a B or a C. First hypothetical class. This class, 2 same missing assignments that are evenly weighted. Even weighted amount. Don't ask me what weighted means. I don't even know. I'm down to a D or an F at 20%. Alright, so we moved the hypothetical class grade down to a 20 just to get caught up to speed. If I turn in those 2 missing assignments from that first hypothetical class, I'm looking at around a D to like a small C, to where if I was 1% lower, I'd be at a D, which I think has happened before. With this class, I turn in those 2 missing assignments, I'm looking at a 21%. Yeah, I went down to a 20. This class fucking sucked so bad. I went down to a 20% based off 2 missing assignments I didn't have. I didn't have completed. I knew the assignments, what the assignments were, although I cannot tell you to this day. I don't know why someone would ask me. But within those 2 assignments, sorry, you have to forgive me. I had a brain freeze a moment there. Well, brain fart, I guess. Within those 2 missing assignments, I turned those in, 21%. And I knew that because I had like my grades connected to my phone, so it'd be like, Trevor has a 21, or Trevor's grades have been updated. Trevor has a 21.6 in this class. From the 2 assignments I turned in, that means from that point on, if I somehow got the 100%, for some reason I turned those in. If I turned those 2 in, the whole grade system was fucked up, because I have had a class like that before, where I've done almost that exact scenario, with a few exceptions, but it has never been that bad. It has never, ever been that bad. I expected that teacher from the 8th grade class, that history teacher I talked about, to be that way, because he was like, I'm preparing you guys for high school, which, by the way, his class was nothing like what it was in high school. Because the first thing they told me in high school, or in middle school, was that in high school, they don't take in late assignments. The amount of time I've turned in late assignments is more than all of middle school combined. So they basically lied to me, because that was the one thing I was afraid of. I have survived middle school and high school. I have survived middle school by just turning in late assignments. Which is something I do not advise in the slightest. I am a heavy procrastinator. So yeah. And another thing of how bad this high school history, my senior teacher, was. I'm usually a pretty chill guy, right? You don't get in my way. I won't get in your way. If a teacher somehow gets in my way, you'll be fine. Some teacher cussed me out one day. It was like back in junior year, and my mom heard and reported that teacher. That teacher then came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, but that." Keep in mind, a few days had passed, like maybe a week had passed since he cussed me out. He was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I cussed you out. I shouldn't have done that," and I felt bad. I'm a very sensitive person. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice back. That was just one scenario that I pinned on myself. I wasn't paying attention, and he was like, well, maybe if you paid attention more often, you wouldn't have to bitch about it." And he had a point. You know, I was talking the whole time, so it wasn't just a matter of. And in my defense, I do talk a lot, but at least I understand what's going on. Usually. But this was like, this was Algebra 2. Algebra 2 is pretty easy, or algebra as a whole is pretty easy. I had to take 2 math classes and 2 lit and comp classes. That's how terrible of a student I am, although I never had to take 3 or 4. I don't even know of anyone who had to take 4 lit and comp. If you had to take 4 lit and comp classes, you do not deserve to be in high school, because you have not paid attention. I'm fine with 2 because occasionally people, because maybe there's a class that maybe isn't their strong suits, and maybe they're like, well, okay, if literature is your strong suit and you just didn't pay attention in that class, you do not deserve to be in high school until you need to go back to middle school. That's just me. I'm gatekeeping shit. I broke the #1 rule of the internet. Do not gatekeep. Damn it. Fuck. Whatever. It's fine. We'll get through this. Why am I acting like I broke the law? This is a terrible episode. But yeah, this teacher, again, like I said, I'm usually chill with you. If I don't like you, I'm not gonna be like, well, do it yourself. No, if I don't like you, I'll still be nice to you, because at the end of the day, we still have to deal with each other. But this teacher, was so bad. He was, to put it into perspective, he was worse than my 8th grade history teacher. So, and it was, I never talked back to him. He was like with my 8th grade teacher, whenever he told me to do my work, I was never like, you do my work. Like, no, I'm not gonna, or like, you do your work, because that 8th grade teacher would always have like stacked papers, so it's like you would go to the bottom of it, you're like, is this from the first day of school? And it was just like yesterday's work. Okay, that's a bit of a hypothetical, but that's how it felt like. So, and so he'd be like, you're failing my class. I'm like, you're not grading any of the work. He's like, that's not my responsibility. It's like, well, yes it is. You're the teacher. It's not my responsibility to be like, hey, grade the work. What am I supposed to do? Grade other people's work? I'm not the teacher. So again, hypothetical. I never did that to that teacher, but with this teacher, my senior history teacher, I wanted to do that. He was like, you guys need to do your work because your teachers are mad at me. First of all, they weren't. My other teachers were not mad at you. They were mad at me. And he was like, yeah, so he's over here like, you guys need to get to work because your teachers are mad at me. And I want to say, no, our teachers are mad at us. They are hoping, they're talking on our defense, because if we talked on our defense, we would beat the shit out of you. Again, I never did that, but that's how bad this teacher was. I'm a very aggressive kid. I still am. I guess I get my anger issues from my dad. There was a lot of shit happened in school that I was just like, that was an uncomfortable moment. I'll end this episode by talking about like the most uncomfortable experience I had in school that haunts me to even this day. I was in 6th grade and this situation still haunts me to this day. I think it was 6th grade. Yeah, I remember, because some asshole of a student was in my class in 6th grade. So yeah, I'll talk about it at the end of the episode or at the end of this video, because there's so much I want to talk about. So yeah, anyway, terrible senior teacher. I felt bad because he was like my lowest grade in any of the classes. Any of the other classes, well, okay, I did have another F, but it was like a 50. I could easily have that raised, because I've had that teacher before in sophomore year, and I knew how he taught. He was like, look, as long as you turn in the work, I'm not going to give you that bad of a grade. If you do the work, actually put effort into it, if I see that you did the work, I'm not going to grade it. I'm not going to judge it based off how many incorrect answers you got. If you did the work, I'm not going to dock your points off. Or you'll get a good grade, you'll pass this class. So he was a pretty good teacher. Again, I don't want to say teachers' names because I just feel uncomfortable about it. A lot of people are fine with it. Personally, for me, it's just saying other people's names, other people's last names is very uncomfortable. Except for my senior history teacher, because fuck him. Fuck Mr. Jordan. He was a terrible fucking teacher. I'm not going to say his first name because that's too far. I don't even think I'm allowed. I don't know. Am I allowed to say the last names of teachers? I think I am, because that can just be any 5 teachers in Colorado. That's a pretty common last name. So yeah. Anyway, so I feel so bad for my case manager because she's trying to get my grades up higher in my class. And this one, which means she's constantly going to this teacher, which I should be doing, and I didn't want to, because I don't like confronting teachers about shit. I don't like. The only time I like confronting teachers is if I'm in their class. Other than that, if I'm in like my second period class, and my teacher's like, "Hey, you need to talk to this teacher," and he's in like seventh, and that teacher's like my seventh period class, I'm not. I'm just gonna be like, no, I'll confront him when I see him because I'm gonna see him. I'm like, no, you need to do it now. I'm like, okay, I understand that, but you don't understand why I'm doing this. I don't feel comfortable doing it. So I always, I guess my hatred of school comes from me, because I always have like these very high standards, but I always expect the teachers to understand, which teachers should understand why you don't want to do something. If it's because you don't feel comfortable doing it, or you don't have a lot of time because you're going from school to your job, which quits around midnight, and then you get so tired you fall asleep, that's understandable. Your teacher needs to understand that I'm not able to do the homework because I have a busy shift that goes up until 12 o'clock or 11:59 at McDonald's. Not sponsored. I don't know if I need to say I'm not sponsored. Whatever. Um, yeah. I feel like teachers need to understand why you don't want to do it. Personally, for me, why don't I want to talk to my teacher, who's probably in a meeting during second period, and go to his classroom, see if he's there, um, and then ask him about work because I don't feel comfortable doing it. I believe that my 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 second period class is for me to do my work. If you want me to do my work and then go on and say you need to go talk to this teacher, although my second period was just some other class, it wasn't just like one little like study hall thing. My teacher told me to do my work in first period, and then she then went off and told me I need to talk to Mr. Jordan about it. I'm like, no, you told me to do my work. I'm gonna do my work. I'm not gonna go off and talk to this teacher about what I need to do. And to this day, I probably should have done that because I feel so bad because my case manager was always talking to him, being like, this is what Trevor needs to do," and all that. And I was basically the lazy person while also doing the work. I'm like a lazy working person. I'm lazy to do it, but if I'm given it, I will do it. I'm too lazy to ask the person for the work, but if I'm given the work, I will do it through other means. And to this day, I still feel bad. And yeah, she would pull me out of class, be like, "Hey, here's all the work that needs to be done for this teacher. Um, when you're in my class, because I had my case manager's class, so she was like, look, whatever you're working on in my class, um, I can help you out. You can do it somewhere else. You can probably do it whenever next time I see you. Um, but for now, once you're in my class, I want you to do the work that was given by the teacher." And that was really awesome because she went out of her way to get the work needed, and then she told me, look, and then she told me that I can do that work that she gave me in her class, which is a pretty fun class. I forgot what it was called. Um, but it was to help me on a path, my future path, which I haven't followed. Because it was like you practice scales on the guitar. I moved into an apartment where everyone could hear me. I'm performance shy. I didn't fucking learn at all. I forgot what it was for 2019. Or 2020. I think it was like fucking get a band together. I don't have that in the slightest. Um, because one of the persons I had in mind was a junior or no, a sophomore. Yeah, a sophomore. Whenever whenever I thought of having her in my band, but 2020 would have been a perfect time because she would have been a senior or out by then. I don't fucking know. I'm too tired for this. Again, I actually woke up like in the last video. I said I woke up an hour ago. I legit like woke up almost 2 hours ago, so I'm a bit tired. Although it's 12. Yeah, I sorry. I was trying to see how close I was to the camera. It's 12:02 by the time I'm still recording. Um, oh, I woke up 50 minutes ago. Almost 50 minutes ago, maybe 53 minutes ago. So, I'm a bit torn up at this. Cause I woke up, did my thing, I went to the bathroom, came here and record. So that's where I am. So I'm so tired right now. So yeah, so this teacher was phenomenal. I really want people to find a teacher like this because a lot of times teachers would be like, yeah, you can come into my class and work on my work. And some people may think, some teachers may care, but to me, to make a teacher care about your future is if they go out of their way to help you out. Now this teacher didn't just help just me; she helped other kids, but she went out of her way to help me. Um, she had like this thing with like study hall or tutor, not necessarily a tutor, but like a study hall thing. And I didn't show up for one day because I was feeling anxiety. She pulled me aside. It was like, hey, why didn't you show up? I made these specifically for kids like you, or it was like me and another kid. And I was like, sorry, I couldn't make it. I'll make the next one. And I did. I made the next one. And then she's like, okay, just next time, let me know. Um, you probably you shouldn't have missed out, and I feel to this day I still feel bad about it. Not as much as the other thing. It doesn't make me cringe. It was just like, oh god, why? Because I didn't want to show up and tell like, hey, I'm not going because I'm there. I'm gonna fucking do it. So yeah, I'll leave you guys with this. A lot of teachers may care, but compared to this situation, and they maybe do, but compared to this situation, I always compare whether teachers care or not to this specific teacher because, yeah, other teachers may care, but as long as they go out of their way to help you, again, while also helping other students because, you're not special, unless that's what that teacher's there for, to only help you, then that's a different scenario. Um, that was a rude thing I said. I'm sorry. And yeah, so I did want to talk about the most uncomfortable situation in sixth grade that still haunts me to this day. I haven't even gone from the time that happened to like maybe well every year since then. This has come across my mind every year. So it was like a Linton comp. So Linton comp was it was more like a Linton comp tutor class that I was in. Again, I have like I want to say special needs because I don't feel special and I'm not needy as much as it sounds. But I have like ADHD and I suffer from like learning disability. So I had an IEP. Not to be confused with an IED, which is an explosive, which is something I get confused quite often. I have an IEP. I don't know what it is. It's like an individual educational program where you sit down. Some of the teachers help figure out okay what needs to be done, what is up with your son, what needs to be done. Now before my parents would usually show up at these meetings, but once I was in high school, I got to show up to these meetings. Boy, it was difficult because it was just be like, yeah, so these teachers, he's failing this class. Teacher says that he needs to be put in the work. He's constantly talking. The biggest one was that I was always on my phone. That's the biggest one. If you have phones, don't be on them constantly. No matter how much your boyfriend texts you, no matter how much your girlfriend texts you, no matter how much your girlfriends text you, no matter if your celebrity crush responded to you back on Twitter, that's not important as an education. No matter if you're trying to beat the level in Candy Crush, although that game is so fucking old, why would you still be playing it in high school? Doesn't matter what game you're playing. The only time you should ever be on your phone is if you're listening to music and you don't like a song. That's it. That's the only time you should be on your phone. Coming from a guy who's constantly on the phone. In fact, I was on the phone in every class period I had except for one, but that was just mostly to change music. So I was on the phone for that one, but that was mostly to listen to music. So and look, I know it the fuck sounds like a nuke launcher from Fallout out there. God, I feel like a mini nuke's gonna come my way. Sorry, you guys probably can't hear that. There's someone out there. Is someone drilling? Sorry. Someone's drilling. It sounds like out there. So I don't know if you guys will be able to hear that. Yeah, anyway, so I was in like an individual learning program. Okay, not individual. I was in a class. But it was they basically taught you either a grade below you or 2 grades below you. So I would be taught as if I was in 5th grade as opposed, or 4th grade as opposed to being in 6th grade. Even though I was in 6th grade when this happened. And we had to read a story. Okay, so bit of context. I was hugely into guns. I wasn't I wasn't planning on being a school shooter, although that's kind of the direction that this story is taking. You guys understand why. I just had an infatuation for guns. I played a lot of Call of Duty, Halo, and all that growing up. So, I loved guns. AK-47 was my favorite gun from Modern Warfare, so it instantly became my favorite gun of all time. Now I don't have a favorite gun. I should say the AK, because for some reason someone asked me what my favorite gun is, I just say the AK because it was for a time. But what I will say is that so in 6th grade, I talked about, so we had to write a story about like a big giant monster that lived around in the dinosaur ages. I forgot what it was called, but it was vicious. It was like a crocodile or an alligator. I don't fucking know. It was one of those two. Let's say a crocodile because I don't know. That's what came to my mind. It was like a big, massive crocodile-like animal from like the dinosaur era. And so there was like, so how would you kill it? That was the thing. How would you kill it? So a lot of people was like, I shoot gun drops from it, because you're in middle school. You have to say shit like that. Not candy canes or poisoning or what. We had a story about poison, and yet this was the most controversial thing ever. Some guy got poisoned in a book. Some guy's being hunted, and yet this was the most controversial thing that was said. I read a book about a guy being poisoned, a guy being shot to death, and a guy being shot or being hunted in 8th grade, yet this was the most controversial thing I could say. Okay? I mentioned how I would shoot an animal, hunt it, and kill it with an AK-47. It didn't shoot candy canes or gumdrops or poisonous darts. I shot it with bullets. Alright? I watched a book, or I read a book and watched a scene from a movie of The Outsiders. If you guys haven't read that book, it's pretty good. I don't read anymore. I have a book right here as we speak, on my end table. I need to reread it because I haven't finished it. But the scene we watched, some dude got shot to death. We read a book about a guy being hunted. It was like the deadliest man or the deadliest hunt or whatever. It's about some guy who gets tired of hunting animals, so he hunts people. Or it's like the most dangerous game or whatever. And we read a book about a guy being poisoned. Yeah, for some reason, I didn't get in trouble because the principal wasn't there, but I got scolded for mentioning even an AK in class. Like, if I was to say I hunted something in 6th grade and then read about it later in 8th grade, because there was like a lot of fear of me being a or a school shooter, so I understand where that was coming from. But that was just 6th grade. Do you think that like all of a sudden, like whatever happened in 6th grade was just gonna calm down after 8th grade? So if someone's shot up the school whenever I was in 6th grade, or shot up a school whenever I was in 6th grade, that shit wouldn't happen again in 8th grade. Nope. Never changed. So you're basically telling me that of all the controversial things that happened from my middle school time, that one was weird? And look, that still haunts me to this day, because she was like, well, imagine the principal being there. And it's like, yeah, okay, so the principal being there is kind of bad. And that's what set it off, was because she didn't know what an AK-47 was. I mentioned an AK-47, and she was like, what's an AK-47? And someone said a gun. She was like, oh god. Like, she was uncomfortable. And at the end, she said, okay, what if the principal was here? I was like, I don't know. I probably wouldn't change it, because I don't have sense of, I don't know the sense or difference between right and wrong. What's wrong to some people may be right to me. So mentioning an AK-47 in school was wrong, but I was totally fine with it, because again, I had no ill intentions. Anyways, it's just dumb, and it still haunts me, and it still, to this day, makes me uncomfortable as fuck. So yeah, I didn't plan on this being so fucking long, but I had a feeling that with how I talk and all that, it was going to be this long. So I'm sorry to anyone who doesn't like long ass videos. Although if you don't like long ass videos, why would you be watching this? I didn't plan on this being an hour long. I was just hoping to like talk about the YouTube bullshit about supporting child molesters or some shit. My worst experience in school, and how iFunny has fucked me over in the head mentally, up to a point where I feel the need to apologize to everyone every time I say something wrong. And that's why I don't like nice people. I don't hate nice people. I'm just scared of nice people. Not like in a phobia sense, just in a sense of like, oh god, just like in a sense of like, I feel uncomfortable if they're nice to me, because that's for a different time. Anyways, I might probably close out a video this time. If you guys have enjoyed this video, let me know if you guys want more by either leaving a like or leaving a comment down below, saying fuck you. I don't know. If you do actually say fuck you after saying that, I would take it as me thinking that you actually want this series again. So to anyone who comments fuck you out of hatred, I will actually take that as okay, you want a part 2 to this. I will continue the series, because it gives me something to talk about. I like to treat this as like my diary type thing. So instead of me being like, dear diary, I'm just like, hey YouTube, here's what's going on. With these type of videos, I don't really expect anyone to watch them, but if they do, awesome. What I might start doing with this series is if something bothering me, or if there's something I want to talk about, but probably don't want to put into a separate video, I'll probably put it into like a Let's Talk episode. So yeah, anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't know why you would, but if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, or whatever the fuck you want. You can say fuck you, although I will definitely do a part 2 if I get a fuck you comment in there. Although I might forget it if it's like the next day or a few months from, or like a few weeks from now and someone types "fuck you," I might take offense to that. So definitely don't type "fuck you" because I will attack you. And if you genuinely are a nice person who's just following along with the rules of like I want more and I attack you, I'm so sorry about that. So if you genuinely want more, don't type "fuck you" because I'll definitely attack you on accident. And yeah, I've been kind of going off and off this apartment for 2 weeks. So like next week I'll probably be in a different location, so I probably won't have any videos up. Um, I did. I'm trying to figure out how to upload videos from my PS4 onto YouTube. I had a video planned where I was gonna review my Railroad Assassin character, but the video came off too long, and it had like two separate parts, and I don't know. So if any of you guys know tips on how to record on a PS4 and upload it to YouTube, because the only video I'm able to upload is like a 6-minute video of a continuation from the last one, but even then it's like 5 seconds long because I don't know how PlayStation clips work. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Help me in the comment section down below if you can, because I really want to get videos out to you guys. So yeah, and if you like this channel, don't know why you would, but if something about this channel entertains you, then subscribe for more. I don't have a set schedule, but that's why you can subscribe and hit the bell. I don't know why you would. Share with friends if you want. Or share with your family members if you have friends to share it to, or maybe you don't want to burden your friends with my problems, my videos, whatever. Losing Maniac out. Jesus.